supportive parents, and most importantly, the Form 4s who are now grown to be my brothers, but are currently being held hostage by long speeches and hot graduation gowns. Good morning. Good morning. I remember being in Form 1, sitting right here where you are now on these seats. Short, confused, bald, black, wearing a uniform that fit like a parachute. And during the graduation speeches, I remember looking at that stage, kind of how my number is looking at me right now, wondering, oh my God, can this guy finish talking? Like, shut up, I'm trying to go home. And I feel you. And now today, somehow, some way, I'm the one up here as this class of 2025 is valedictorian. Hoping, for whatever reason, that you are saying the same thing. But I promise you this won't be boring, at least not for the parts I talk about myself. Hood philosopher and street poet Drake once said, "We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now the whole team is here." And in the same night, we came here at the bottom as Form 1s, short, confused, but with the courage to keep going on, and now we're here. But before I say too much, I must say thank you. To the parents who cheered us on, to the teachers who pushed us past our limits, to the staff who kept our world spinning, from the chefs to the security guards, and most importantly, to the students who made this school story a story worth telling. Thank you. So I like to think of our journey as a class like a storybook. Chapter 1, Form 1, let's take it back. Back to when we were strangers. Small boys with big dreams, we had no idea what we were in for. We didn't know that when they said we overheard waffles in the school menu, they meant chapati once every 2 weeks. We also didn't know that Batman was our dean of students. We was in the room. We also didn't know that in Form 1, you only had 2 options as a model. Either you dance during entertainment or you are volunteered to dance. Another thing we also didn't know is that Mashaya was not a teacher, but was in fact just a Form 1 who God had blessed with an adult man's facial hair at 15. We were begging to be put on funky lists like a scholarship. I can still remember one day finding Melvin fencing through the gate like an M16 agent, just trying to talk to someone's daughter on the other side. We were new, we were awkward, we were hungry for adventure, and let's be honest, for lunch. Then came Form 2, one of the most dangerous years for Nova history. Because finally, this class of 2025 had another class to dump the past year's stresses on. This was also the year many of us realized that girls are in fact just human beings and would not in fact bite you. Consequently, this resulted in being the year that many of us got our first girlfriends, then our second girlfriends, then our third girlfriends, then those realizing that maybe we were the problem. And somehow, some way, this was also the year that we had a student government majority consisting of Form 2s. This was the year Tatu became nutrition secretary. And on an unrelated note, this was also the year that we broke the record for the most scones stolen from the kitchen in one night. That week, Form 2 slept on a full stomach. But this was also the year we lost many of our brothers to out-of-school suspensions and expulsions. But nevertheless, we stayed resilient because who could separate that which had been formed in fire? This was the year This was also the year that we split into streams, that even though we were divided into cohorts, we still stood as a brotherhood. Then came Form 3, our peak. This was the year that the class of 2025 cemented itself as the greatest class to ever wear a uniform. It seems some people don't agree with me, so let me just say what we did. Debate nationals, we won. The Shark Tank, we conquered. Sports regionals, we owned. Let me take you back sometime in September, the last week Form 3 versus Form 4 football match. Never before had a Form 3 team ever won against their seniors, but Commander scored a finesse shot that sealed this victory in the marble ending. In fact, this year, the other day I was talking to Mr. Kennedy, and I was telling him that trophy case in the reception should be dedicated to the class of 2025 because without us we're been empty. This was the year that we went global. Many of us going for trips to Qatar, Egypt, the USA, and we can't forget Spain. You know why? Because Laban and Chaka will never, ever, ever make us forget they went to Spain. This was also the year we had people like Big Sean discovering the art of farming. And he has never been the same ever since. Let me tell you something about this class. We didn't just break records, we broke boundaries. Boundaries of fear of what we thought we could do, of how high we could aim, and of what success is supposed to look like. We became the class of 2025. And as I stand here today, believe it or not, I believe I am the reincarnation of Martin Luther King Jr. Because he had a dream and I have a dream too. I have a dream that when I'm running my multi-million-dollar businesses and I run into tax issues, His Excellency Fidel Castro, my future president, will bail me out. I have a dream that when I finally get married to a 5'1" to 5'4" light-skinned Coca-Cola cup, serious angel woman, and we board a first-class flight to the Bahamas for a honeymoon, I'll hear, hello, this is your captain speaking, and it is Abu Bakr Mohammed. I have a dream that when I need a ruthless dictator lawyer to fight defamation cases, I'll call Eddie and Tamaro the Terminators. That when I need some drugs, Nasruddin will be on the line. In a hospital, of course, he wants to become a doctor. That when I need spiritual blessing on those nights that I can't sleep, I'll call on Eliezer, my prophet, to pray for me. That when humanity finally conquers the solar system, I'll FaceTime keep the supreme leader of the sun and all its planets for a Martian visa. Because when I look at this class of 2025, I don't just see classmates. I see destiny. I see future moguls, icons, leaders, and legends. I see a family that grew up together and glowed up together. And honestly, when I look at you again, a part of me cries because I know that after that paper on November 22nd, many of us will disappear, only to reappear years later in a random quick mart on a random Tuesday evening, pushing a trolley with 23 kids, a wife, and a new hairline. I'm not going to mention names, but I'm talking about you, Nasruddin. But even then, I'll remember who you are, and I'll smile. Because the reward is never just the grades or the awards or the trophies that we won. It was the friendships we made along the way, so we must give thanks. And I have to give a special shout out to these following people. To our teachers, Mr. Senna, who served as a cut sharper than a scalpel, but who cared like a big sister. To Miss Wafula, our mother. I don't think any other one is it. To Dr. London Moore, I'm not sure if she's here with us today, and it will be a surprise to hear her name, but words cannot express how the powerful, infectious smile kept on encouraging us whenever we felt like we were down. Personally, whenever I stood on a stage and I had to dance, I just have to look at her and her smile would tell me to keep going. To Mr. Moses and Kaka, the Stream 1 homeroom teachers. Thank you for literally being the best teachers ever. And I'm sure this whole form can agree. To Mr. Menaba, our principal, thank you for always working behind the scenes to make everything run smoothly. And sir, thank you especially for letting us go to Alliance Opens. Without you, I would have never met my first girlfriend. Mr. Kennedy for teaching me the power of having a base and being the rock behind all my debate trophies. And especially to Miss Melodious and Miss Regina, you have a special place in my heart. Thank you for sponsoring me that day in Nairobi school when I was so hungry and you gave me 1,000 shillings to go and buy food. Thank you so much. To Mr. Michael, thank you for helping me understand that the warmer my bed was, the colder my future would be. And to every faculty member who stayed late, woke up early and believed in us, even when we forgot to believe in ourselves, we see you. And we as the class of 2025, thank you. To our parents, mom and dad as I see over there. To my mom, thank you for being there for everything. You didn't just support my passions, you showed up. All the way to Malaysia for our scholars, to the US for the youth tournament of champions, 10 toes down every time. And my dad, thank you for being the calm in every storm, for listening to my rants after rough days, even when I was half-bald after those school barbers did us dirty. You never judged, you just offered wisdom, and that meant everything. To my classmates, the OG Stream 1, my hometown, the greatest class of all time. Okay, you don't seem to agree with me, it's okay. We were split but never broken, separated but always one. And as we split ways, I only have one thing to say to you. Mohanja and your group, please don't run on the farting, it's Now, this is the part I come to a close. This is the part I come to a close. I know many of you are saying, thank God, I know. If you didn't hear anything else, at least hear this. My message to you, the class of 2025, do not just chase grades, chase greatness. Do not just remember the rules, but break the boundaries. Do not just look at the sky, because the sky for this class is not the limit, it is only the beginning. And when life tries to box you in, remember where you came from. You come from a class that made Innova feel like a revolution. A class that turned struggle into strength. A class that turned silence into speeches, and a class that turned pressure into power. So class of 2025, let it be known that when the world sees your footprints, they'll know you're always 10 steps ahead. Let your dreams be so bold they scare you, and let your future be so bright, even the sun takes notes. Thank you, God bless you, and may the next chapter be the best one yet. Thank you.